What's up guys? In today's video, we're talking chicken coops, okay? We're gonna show you our coop, we're gonna show you why we chose the coop that we chose, we're gonna talk about some pros and some cons, and we're gonna do it right now. Let's show you around. What's up, Chicky Chick? Here's the coop. It is sitting on a 4x8 sheet of plywood. That's basically it. So that's the dimensions of it, right? We built a standing coop, a stationary coop, right? So this coop doesn't move around. A lot of times people will build what they call chicken tractors where you can move chickens around. Well, we didn't do that here. And the reason why is because we don't really have a whole lot of land for it. Although, I think I am gonna build Justin's mini-me chickshaw. So keep an eye out for that. So I'm opening up this door so that we can, as I find the, oh there, it's up there. Dirt. Okay. All right, so the doors are open. Here we go. We have a window that we got there. Got that from the home store, the rehome store, the Habitat for Humanity's Goodwill type thing. For like $5 get a window. You can find all sorts of building supply stuff cheap at the Restore. I think it's called the Restore. Anyway, so this is a standard little, imagine building a rectangle house with Legos. That's just what I did. I took some 2x4s and just kind of built 4 walls. The roof portion, you know, I don't know how to build stuff. So I tried building this roof and it kind of works. Someone told me that 22 degrees was the angle you're supposed to cut there, so I cut the 22-degree angles up there. This was actually the hardest part to do, was building the roof. And that was the airplane flying over my head. I will wait for that airplane to go away. Okay, so the roof. It's a 22-degree pitch roof. This was actually the trickiest part for me. What I did is I just kind of attached this beam here to the top to something in there so that it was where I kind of thought it was supposed to be. And it had a straight line across the coop. It's just an 8-foot piece of board, right? Actually, it was this 8-foot wouldn't be long enough, so I had to get a 10-foot board and cut a piece off. But and then I just attached these boards to it. You know, every 2 feet it looks like. You know, I'm not building a house here, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we threw the sheathing up top there and put some shingles on top of that. Right. So again, I didn't do it right. Like I think this board here is supposed to be straight up and down. You know, if you look at like a normal house. But I didn't know that, so I just cut them that way, and that's just how I did it. So I put the board there on the end, so it stays dry in here, and that's really the goal, right? So one thing that you're gonna wanna be careful of when you're building these coops is you wanna make sure that there's gaps, right? Because the chickens need airflow. They need airflow to stay dry. Even in the cold, they can take a lot of cold, but they can't get wet. So the air flowing through there wicks up moisture, right? So that it doesn't stay wet in there. Obviously the bedding does that too, but if it was all blocked in and there's not enough airflow, it's not good for the chickens. So, but the problem that comes with that is if you have openings like this, you got to cover them up so that bad guys don't get in there. And we put this hardware cloth here around in the opening, and this is kind of a big hole because a snake might get through that, but we'll see. We haven't had one yet. There was a snake that was on this fence, that was on this coop a month ago. But it didn't get in. It was going all the way around the coop and it couldn't find a way in, so did a good job keeping that guy out. All right, this nest box here, we built this nest box on the side of the coop so that the chickens will lay their eggs in here, and for the most part they do. If you find that chickens are not laying their eggs in the nest box, one of the causes for that I've noticed is that the nest box is not as dry as they would like it to be. And it might look dry, right? Because it looked dry. We had that issue, and I looked in the nest box and everything looked fine, and they weren't laying in the nest boxes. And I started pushing the bedding away, and when I got down to the bottom of the bedding, there was moisture, and it was kind of wet down there and damp. So I pulled everything out of there, gave them nice, fresh, clean, dry bedding in their nesting boxes, and they went and laid straight away in there. So if their chickens are not laying in your nest box, you either have not enough nest boxes, which is probably not the case, or your nest boxes are not dry enough for them. And they might look dry, but down below that bedding, it could be moisture in there. Get that moisture out and your chickens will be back in business. Okay, so when I built this coop, we only had 6 or 5 chickens. Yeah, like no one ever keeps only 6 or 5 chickens. So what I did was I framed out, you see how I framed out that hole there? That's where I built that nest box in. So on this other side, I framed out a hole here too, but I did not build a nest box. I'll link right here above me to a video that I made when we did build that nest box. So we built the nest box this past winter, I believe, in 2019 fall, I don't know. Here's a link to the video, you can check it out. It'll show you how we built this other nest box. And so once we put this on, when we had 15 chickens, that was enough. It was enough nest boxes so where they would lay their eggs in the nest box. Okay, so there's your coop, and so the chickens either need to be able to get let out of the coop every day, or you can build a run like I did that is secure. Right. So this is a dog kennel that I found off of Craigslist. Basically chain link fencing. I think I paid $50 for all this fencing. It really wasn't in such good shape. We had to kind of put it together and strap it together. So I took these fences and all the material that we had and built a cage, basically. This big gap here, I covered it up with more hardware cloth to make sure nothing gets in there. And down at the bottom, I ran chicken wire along the bottom of the coop, down about 2 feet and then out about 2 feet. So if you dig down here, it's hard packed ground now, but below this is chicken wire. And honestly, you don't have to bury it, right? People think that you have to dig a ditch and put the chicken wire down. If you just put the chicken wire down on the ground, it's going to get covered up because the chickens are going to kick out the dirt that's in the run, or in our case, the wood chips, because you're going to want to put something in there, and that's going to cover it up. So you really don't have to worry about it. It might be sticking out for a while, but over time, it's going to work itself down into the ground. We had a bunch of logs from some trees we took down, and I decided to put the logs over top of that chicken wire on the ground as some extra added protection. I just wanted to make sure these guys weren't going to get caught and gobbled up, and it's worked out pretty nicely for me so far. These logs are starting to rot away. You can see this one's pretty much gone already. So, I don't think I'm going to need to replace them because my chicken wire is pretty well buried now and it's pretty solid in there. Okay, so I have a door to the run. That door stays open now because I've got this fencing here that's totally predator secure. If I didn't have that, if I didn't have a gate, let's say, on there, I'd have to close that door every day because the chickens would go to bed in there, and I need to shut the door so that no bad guys can get in there and gobble them up. But since I have a secure run, which you could easily build one, you don't need to come out here and open the door every day. So that's nice. Also, you're gonna want to put something over top, right? So we've got the roof covered up with the fencing, and on the far side there, you'll see the fencing didn't quite go all the way. Give them a couple perches here. The fencing didn't quite go all the way across, so we had to get some more protection here, wheel this out, and cover it all up. So there's our run, right? There's our run. There's our coop. Let's go inside and check it out. See how these guys see how the girls are doing. So here is our feeder and our water setup. All right, this is a 5-gallon water bucket here with a couple of nipples on it. You buy these from Tractor Supply or Premier One. This is an 11/32 drill bit hole, just so you know, because it doesn't say it on the package, but that's what the size is, right? Hanging this down from above, and I've got a feeder here that holds about 2 or 3 days worth of food. So set that up and walk away from them. Pretty nice. And here is where I put the last wall under the coop there. A lot of people can let the chickens go under the coop. Our chickens do go under the coop when they're free ranging like they are now, but when they're in the run, they don't go under the coop. You got to be mindful of that because they can dig, right? And so the coop is sitting on ground, and it's got these feet that you may, if you don't bury the feet in the ground and they're sitting on top of the ground, and the chickens are digging the ground out from under it, your coop might shift. So you got to be mindful of that. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, look, see the bottom of the run here? See how they've dug down below where the ground level was? So over time they'll do that. And now take a look and see what I got here, right? See all these wood chips? This is carbon, right? Joel Salatin calls this the carbonaceous diaper. It's hot. As I dig down here, it's hot because it's composting and the foodstuffs that we put in here and all their manure that goes in the ground. All that, it just turns into compost over time. And so you can keep chickens in the same spot. You can keep livestock in the same spot as long as you're able to provide them with enough carbon to suck up all the nitrogen that they drop behind them. And so you can get those sources usually for free from wood chippers, tree trimmers, right? They'll usually have lots of free wood chips that they're just itching to get rid of. And here's our door. You know, I put this contraption to kind of make this gap smaller because I didn't want anything to get in there. And that is a tour of the coop. So that's what we've done. And you know, the pros to this kind of coop is that you don't have to move it around. The con is that, you know, you don't get to move it around, right? Because by moving it around, you get to move the nitrogen all over your property where the chickens are leaving it behind at night. All right, let's talk about one more thing, and that's inside the coop here. Now, I know you guys have probably seen me do some cleaning. Let's look at all the poop that we have, right? So the chickens poop a lot, but they poop a lot at night too. And when they come in here to go to bed, this is where they're sleeping, right here up here on this roost. And if you look at the bedding down here, it's not that bad. Over here it's pretty bad because this board is not satisfactory. This board is 2 feet wide, which is big enough to catch a chicken on either end of that perch. So almost 100% of the poop that comes off of the chickens on this perch here gets caught by this board. So all I gotta do is take this board out, scrape it off into that wheelbarrow, move the poop wherever I want to move it. I do that once a week. Actually, I should do it once a week. I probably do it a little less often than that. And on this side here, this board is not 2 feet wide, so it does not catch all the poop. So that's what we're gonna fix today. I got this board from Lowe's and I painted it, make it last a little bit longer. But I'm gonna clear out the coop right now, and then I'm gonna cut this board to size. I'm gonna replace the left side with this board, so in the future we're gonna catch more poop and not have to clean it up out of the bedding. So one of the benefits of the deep bedding system is that you don't need to change out the bedding all the time. In fact, really hardly ever, maybe once a year, if that, because you keep it nice and deep in there, and if you can remove the poop relatively easily, then it doesn't build up and you don't have to worry about it. So what I do is I catch it with these boards, and that gets the job done. Got a board in here on both sides of this middle brace, and that is going to be what the board rests on that I'm going to put up here. So I've got this one cut with a little bit of a gap there so you can move it over and lift it up out. I need to measure this distance here and cut that board to length. I do a little bit of cutting now. I'm actually going to shave this one off 1/2 inch so it'll fit easier on the other side too. Make my life a little easier all around. Safety first. Measure twice, cut once. Yeah. Like it. This one's pretty dirty. Alright, I'm not drawing a line. This is just gonna cut 1/2 inch off here. That ought to do it. Ooh, dirty board. Alright, here's hoping I cut them right. This one I'm pretty sure is good, since it was already, oh jeez, it was already short enough to begin with. Now hopefully it's not too short. Oh yeah, much easier to get in and out. Alright girl. Gloves for that one. Look how clean this is, huh? It's gonna be real nasty next time I pull this out of here. You already going to bed? It's not that late, is it? Huh? could have went even shorter with this one. So maybe I will later, one day. But for right now, we are good. We got good coverage here. I'm gonna cover all the poop that they can drop. All right. Notice we got these removable boards here so to keep the bedding inside. And that is the coop. That is our Taj Mahal. Or whatever, we don't have a name for it, but that's our chicken coop. Huh? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think about our chicken coop? Huh? What do you think? Do you like it? This one's boss. She kind of does things first. She's the first one to go to bed. Huh? You like your house? This chicken is like almost 3 years old. So next year I think it might be curtains for her. But you go to bed now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to know more, if you guys want to hear 5 reasons why we love to homestead, please click right here. We'll put a video up for you. You can do that. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel. Thanks again so much. We look forward to talking to you again. Take care. Bye.